Let's see. Let's get started then, and I'll keep a watch out for some questions that come through and things like that, and we'll kind of go from there. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to the next edition of Bass Class Live. My name is Jared Vermilia. I'm with Hook Wars Fishing, and we have the Auburn University Bass Fishing Team here with us. So I'm going to let them take over and introduce who we have on, and we're going to have some fun talking some college fishing with them tonight and learning some new information. So why don't you guys tell us who you are and a little bit about yourselves?
Okay, I'm CJ Knight. I'm a senior in environmental science here at Auburn. This is my second full year at Auburn, graduate in December. And this is the vice president of the club.
Yeah, I'm Mitchell Jennings, and I'm the vice president, like he said, and I'm a senior mechanical engineering student.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for being on. I know you guys got a lot going on in your college lives, so especially on a Thursday night, that's usually a busier night on college campuses. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to come out, be on with us, and answer a few questions and things like that. So we're really just trying to get to know you guys on here, learn a little bit about your team, how you guys operate, some different things and stuff like that. So we're going to take some time to answer some questions and do that. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the history of the team. As far as you guys have been there, and even before then, if you know a little bit about it, just talk about the Auburn team itself and things like that.
Well, to start off, we've had a really successful collegiate fishing career since it started. We've sent two guys to Bassmaster Classic, which is the Lee brothers, that's phenomenal by itself to send two kids from one school. We haven't won a national championship yet, but we've been all around it. We're always there. We're always contending, whether it be regional events, just really any events. We've got a really good thing going here at Auburn, and we've had a lot of success.
Cool. Now, since you guys have been there, how have you seen the team grow, and what are some things that you guys have done to kind of help that happen along the way?
We have about 50 members, maybe. We have about 50 members on our team, and
which is really large.
Yeah, we're one of the biggest clubs in the nation, and I guess to help us grow and stuff like that, I mean, we really haven't had to advertise much. We kind of we have a name, I guess. We're a lot of people. I mean, we have guys on our team that come from Chicago and up north guys and Florida guys that want to come to Auburn just to be on the fishing team. So I mean, we usually have 50 members every semester. So yeah.
It's really expanded in the last couple of years also. Actually, I think we got 56 members this year. So it's close to 60.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so you said you guys have people coming just to be on the bass team. Are you reaching out and doing any kind of recruiting, or what's the kind of the process? How do they find out about you guys and what they do?
Not really. Well, since I'm secretary of the club, I've really come on board. I've really started expanding, going to high schools and giving similar seminars like this, and talking to kids and just trying to get more involved with the community and the youth. But really, in the past, we haven't really had much form of I guess you'd say advertisement. Pretty much, I think our biggest form of advertisement has been our success.
Hard to argue with that.
Yeah. So I would say that's probably our biggest, form of getting people in. But like Mitchell said, we've got one kid, he come all the way from Chicago just to be on the fishing team. And I'm like, man, that's a long ways to come just to be on the fishing team. So, which, most colleges has got fishing teams now, but to be able to have kids come from far across just to come to Auburn to do that, I think that says something.
Yeah, definitely. That speaks volumes that, kids are seeking you guys out just to come and be a part of the fishing team and things like that. So when these kids come, like, what do you guys do? Do you just have an initial meeting, or do y'all set up a table at, freshman orientation? What do you guys do to kind of kick things off beginning the year?
At the beginning of the year, our campus recreation does I forgot what it's called, but basically every club sport has to set up a booth at our rec and wellness center, and we kind of advertise ourselves there a little bit. And there's a bunch of people that come for different sports, and we'll tell them when meetings are and stuff. And at our first meeting is when everybody can join, and we'll hand out flyers for that, I guess, and then basically anybody can join. So
cool. Okay, so you said you guys have 56 members, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about the team then. With having 56 people out there, what do you guys do to figure out who's going to be fishing with who, where you're going to be fishing, when you're going to be fishing, and, just all those different dynamics that come into play with a fishing team?
Well, to start out with, like Mitchell was saying, we have our first meeting. From there, we kind of assess everyone, who has boats, who's going to be a boater, who's going to be a co-angler. We have to, differentiate them two apart from each other. And usually we have more, boaters or more co-anglers than one of the two. So from there, we kind of have to modify the system to where we can go about our qualifying tournaments. But basically, like he said, we have our first meeting. You pay your club dues. You get all your boat insurance, all the liability forms, everything that you're going to need to fish for the collegiate format. And from there, we have a system of what we call 5 qualifying tournaments. And from there, we'll take the top 4 out of those 5, and that is how we base our travel team. Which we take the top 8 out of those 5 qualifying tournaments, and that's who gets their stuff paid for, and vice versa for bass. And we do FLW's 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do top 12 for FLW.
So we have 56 members. 12 people make the travel team, so-called, but other people can fish too. If they don't make the travel team, they just have to pay on their own to go to tournaments.
Right.
So, and then
but the ultimate goal is to, when you fish these qualifying tournaments or 5 tournaments, you take your 4 best scores and you're trying to get in that top 12.
Right.
Because that gives you the traveling. You get to be on the travel team. That's that's kind of where you want to be, because you get everything paid for.
Right. So it sounds like there's a lot of competition then to make that travel.
Oh yeah,
there is a lot. Yeah.
It's fun too, though.
Yeah. I bet. So does it get pretty heated then during those qualifying tournaments, guys trying to make the travel team and stuff like that? Walk us through that process throughout.
We mess around with the freshmen and stuff, but it's always fun, man. We don't never take anything too seriously. I mean, we just try to have fun. We all hang out together all the time. We go bowling at least once a week, or everybody's really busy right now, but especially start off semesters, we really try to be interactive, and we really try to learn who's all in the club, and we're just kind of a family oriented club deal, which is awesome. I think that's why we have a lot of success too.
That's cool. It seems to be a common thing among anglers in general. I know last time we spoke with the Georgia College team, we talked to them about competition and stuff, and it's just a little bit different in the fishing world than basketball or football. So we'll touch a little bit more on that in a little while. So you guys mentioned about you've got your 8-team travel team and your 12-person travel team. Now, the thing that I find kind of crazy about college fishing is you've got the FLW Tour, you got Cabela's School of the Year, you got Bass Collegiate, and there are all these separate divisions. What do you guys do to determine which events you're going to be fishing in? If you're going to concentrate on one specific, area, how does all that play out for you guys?
You want to touch base? Well, the main thing is like for me, I like to. Every person's different. I mean, we've got kids that fish these the Fish Life Tour, these other South Alabama Bass Trail for college, all these other little small collegiate tours. But me personally, I focus myself on the FLW and the Bass because that's I feel like that's where I can go somewhere with it. I could when I'm doing that, I've got a chance at the Forest Wood Cup. I've got a chance at going to the Bassmaster Classic. That's your highest competition level there. That's where you really want to excel. But like you said, they got the Cabela's, their tour and all. And we have kids that, they opt to do that also. Now, us personally, we really don't get into it much. We have fished some of them if they're close by, but I'm more focused on the FLW, the main bulk of the collegiate series, which is the Bass and the FLW.
Okay, so sounds like you're trying to qualify for those other events, and if you want to do that, you need to stick to the FLW tour or the Bass tour in order to make it to that next level. Does that sound right?
And there's so many of them. It's just
yeah,
it gets time consuming. It's like you look at the one tour, you have an event this week, and then there's the FLW event the next week. So it's like in fishing, you really got to limit yourself. You got to pre-fish. You got to stay on top of things. So it's all about personal what you want to do. Like I said, we have kids that went to Dardanelle this past week, 2 weeks, whatever it was. We had kids that went to Kentucky Lake. We have kids that go to all the events.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on every weekend if you want to get into it between the different tours and everything. So I have noticed that there's a lot going on. So now let's talk about this. You mentioned, fishing the different tournaments. You got a pre-fish. How do you juggle your school life with your fishing life?
I'll let the mechanical engineer go with that first. Or electrical engineer. I'm sorry. He can tell you more about that.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's pretty tough. I want to go fishing every day, of course, but we can't do that. So we put school first, or try to, and then after that, every weekend, we go fishing. That's what we do. So
that's basically like he said. I want to be out there every day, but I'm paying for this college, so I pretty much have to put it first. And there's been times that I fished these tournaments where I haven't really, I felt like I haven't really did as well as I wanted to because I really didn't get the time to pre-fish. But school's first. You had to put college first. So, and I'm not going to have it any other way. But
we have to maintain a 2.0 GPA, which is a C average, just to remain on the team,
just to fish. Yeah.
So you have to put school first, especially here at Auburn. School's pretty tough. So.
Okay. Is that mandated by you guys, or is that mandated by the actual tours themselves?
That's actually both.
Yeah.
It's in our bylaws that you have to, and then it's if you're not taking 12 hours and have a 2.0 GPA per bass, and probably FLW too, I don't think they'll let you fish. So definitely the 12-hour deal. You have to be a full-time student. So
that's definitely a club sport deal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good though. You don't want to lose focus of why you're really there, right?
That's right. Yep, that's right.
So, with you being on the Auburn fishing team, do you ever have any issues? Like, do teachers understand if you're headed out for the weekend and you've got assignments due and stuff like that? Does that ever present itself?
A lot of times it does. And what we do, we have club excuses, and teachers don't have to abide by them, I guess. I mean, it's a written form from the school that says, hey, so-and-so has to go and fish this tournament for the club. It's for the school, you know. And they can either take it and say, okay, well, you can make up a test or whatever you got to do, you know, later. Or, you know, they say, well, that's not good enough. Some teachers are like that. Some teachers aren't. Most aren't. Most are pretty nice about it. They understand. So.
Yeah, I've never had a problem. My 2 years being here, every event that I've ever had, you know, as long as you contact your professor, you know, beforehand, which I try to do at least a week before, just to let them know, hey, this is going on, whatever. I'll have a university excuse. I've never had a problem, but you know, it could be a problem, especially if you wait too late.
So it sounds like as long as you're kind of communicating with your teachers and letting them know up front and that sort of stuff, shouldn't have a real big issue with that, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So let's talk about then. You mentioned, you know, you guys are a club sport, which I think is probably just about all bass fishing teams right now. How do you guys, as far as the changes that you've seen since you've been there, what do you guys see college fishing? What kind of direction do you see it kind of going in the next, you know, 2-4 years? How do you see things changing and on both the team level and the way the university looks at you guys?
It's expanding.
Yeah, college. This is my 3rd year, and I fished every event I could. And the first year I was here, I think roughly 80-90 boats per tournament, something like that. And then now it's up to, I mean, we had a tournament at Lake Martin this year that was 215 boats. It broke a record for college tournament. So
a regional tournament.
I mean, it's college fishing's getting huge quick. I mean,
I think that I think it's you can see you know, kind of a correspondence to the schools actually starting to see that they can benefit from college fishing too, because you've had a lot of colleges now that are offering scholarships. When I graduated high school in 2011, I started our high school fishing team, and you know, we had offers to go to Bethel University, which was at the time was the only college in the whole nation that gave out a fishing scholarship. Now you've got several schools doing, you know, fishing scholarships. Now, whether that be full paid scholarships, I don't really think that there's many full paid tuition, but there is a scholarship for fishing. I think Faulkner's got a program. Montevall's got their small scholarship programs, but it is getting bigger. I mean, you can definitely see an increase in the popularity in all of college fishing.
Yeah, and it seems interesting because a lot of the smaller schools, it seems like, are the ones that are starting to offer the scholarships,
right?
To kind of bring kids in and bring attention, because that's something else that we can talk about is just the kind of the competition level when you go out on the lake. I mean, it's you guys versus any size school. There's no divisions or anything like that. So a lot of these small schools, it seems like, are trying to put together some big teams to compete, you know, with your Auburns and your Alabamas and Ole Miss and Miss State, all those type teams. So that's very interesting. So do you think then anytime in the near future that, you know, Auburn will be giving out fishing scholarships or anything along those lines?
I'm going to say no. I don't know what he's going to say, but
I believe that that the smaller schools, you know, they're more able to do it because they don't have as many funding, you know, purposes. You know, a lot of these schools, they don't have a football team, or maybe they don't have a basketball team, or versus like Auburn has, you know, everything. We've got club sports for lacrosse, you know, hockey, everything. It just seems like to me the smaller schools are able to give out, you know, just give out a little bit of something, you know, scholarship just to kind of influence people to come fish for them, which is awesome. But as far as scholarships at Auburn, I think maybe one day if it becomes a a legitimate, sport where it gets past the club sport level, yeah, for sure, Auburn will probably the first one to do it. But who's to say that's ever going to happen? I'm not sure. I would like to think it would, because it's expanding, tremendously. Every year it gets bigger and bigger. And, I mean, you're seeing small schools with fishing teams with 10, 15 people, even sometimes 20 people. So
right.
it could happen.
So with the scholarship aspect of it and the smaller schools, spending a lot of time and effort on those, do you think you'll start seeing some of the better high school fishermen go to these smaller schools because of the scholarship opportunities? And do you think that's going to play a big role in, the competitive level in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I've had a couple of guys I've tried to get last couple of years. That unfortunately they did go to they went to a college that offered the scholarship program. But that still really doesn't mean anything. I mean, we've got kids that wouldn't have it any other way. They would come to Auburn regardless if there was a scholarship program or not. But I mean, yeah, it does. I think it definitely gives people a firsthand incentive to look at, the other colleges that offer, maybe a scholarship or something.
But yeah, the advantage of you guys just being Auburn, people want to come to Auburn, right?
Oh yeah, people want to wear the Auburn jersey.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's cool.
Great.
All right, let's see. So let's talk a little bit about some other things. Tell us who you guys are sponsored by, and kind of talk about the process of the college sponsorship.
Yeah,
I know we can see some of them on there.
Yeah, this year was this is my first year being on the. Of course, I've only fished collegiate for 2 years. I've only been here at Auburn for 2 years, but really strive this year to get sponsors. We've never had sponsors here at Auburn, which is really it's really kind of sad how much success that we've had. We've really never had nobody to thank or anything, which is okay. We did everything kind of on our own, but this year I really strived to get our sponsors, and some of these are local sponsors. We're on with Legend Bass Boats, I think Yamaha, Tiger Rods, which is a
Livingston.
Yeah, Livingston, Davis Bait Company out of Silicaga, where I'm from.
Big Bite, AFCO.
Yeah, Big Bite, AFCO, Clothing. We really had a lot of success with it. It was no problem getting sponsors. Most people wanted to jump on board pretty quick once we announced that we were going to, have sponsorships this year.
Yeah, it was actually a club deal that we couldn't have sponsors. I mean, we were having people contact us wanting to sponsor us, and we would have to tell them no because our school wouldn't let us.
Wouldn't allow us.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow us. So.
Okay, interesting. So Auburn University wouldn't allow you to have sponsors.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's an interesting play there, especially for a fishing team, because that plays a big part of your team.
I really don't know why they changed it either. Do you? I think they finally seen how much exposure that they've got from the bass fishing team, and they finally just said, look, we need to let them do whatever they need to do because they're getting it done.
Free reign, huh? All right.
Yeah, I personally think that's what happened, but I'm not sure.
Cool. Well, that's a good story. Definitely. So when you guys were contacting these sponsors, what sort of approach did you take? I know you said a lot of them kind of came to you once they found out, that Auburn was allowing sponsors. Were there any particular sponsors that you guys kind of identified as we want to try to get on with them? And what did you do to reach out to those companies?
We actually had Legend Boats is our title sponsor. And at the Bassmaster Classic on Guntersville 2 years ago, at the expo, the guy that owns Legend Boats came up to us and said, hey, we want to sponsor you, whatever, and we told him we couldn't then. So we contacted people like that first that were already willing to sponsor us.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we just contacted a few people. We made up a flyer of,
just the basic sponsors that we kind of needed and wanted. We definitely wanted a rod sponsor. We wanted one bait, at least one bait sponsor. But yeah, like you said, the title sponsor from Legend was kind of already there, and we just kind of went with it once we finally got the go on the sponsorships.
Very cool. Great. Yeah, that is great, definitely. So they help you guys out with boats? Do they allow you to use boats for your tournaments, or what do they do for you?
They don't really allow us to use their boats or anything like that. I guess that's too much of a liability for them.
Sure, I was just wondering. That would be cool if that was the case.
I don't know.
A boat breakdown or something.
They may. I'm not sure, but no, we just use our own boats, and like these other sponsors, Tiger Rods. This guy that owns this is actually Auburn alumni, I believe, and he sent the top 12 a rod, for free. He custom built it and everything, and then
the custom rod's really nice.
Livingston Lures sends us a couple lures, and all of them give us money to help us send more people to tournaments.
Right.
So that's what actually funds our getting to go places deal.
Right. The travel
team, yeah.
Yeah, that's great that you mentioned that too, because that was going to be one of my next questions is, how do you guys provide the funds to do all the traveling? Because a lot of times, you can travel pretty long distances, multiple hotel nights and things like that. So does all that money come from your sponsors?
Not all of it. Club dues.
We have fundraisers also.
We have fundraisers. We sell T-shirts.
Okay.
Mostly club dues, though. Our club dues per year are $250 right now, and
that's for a full year, though.
Yeah, that's a full year, and $30 of that actually signs you up for bass. Being a bass member, I guess. Membership to fish bass tournaments. So.
Okay. Cool. Great. All right. Well, we're going to transition a little bit into something different now. So, CJ, I know you mentioned that you started your high school fishing team. Let's talk a little bit about the high school fishing level, and just talk about when you were in high school, how were the tournaments, and how that's kind of changed as well.
Well, to start out with, I graduated in 2011 from Sylacauga High School, and I was the president of our club there at Sylacauga. I had to, I started everything up from scratch there, and it was a big process. It was, lots of paperwork and especially liability forms and stuff for the, because you're not grown adults, it's high school kids. But starting off that year, I think it was the second year that Alabama had their start to high school fishing. And at the time, they did the best that they could. It was really it went really well in my opinion. There was some stuff they could have did better, but now I've helped with some events. Now you got Bass Nation on board for Alabama, and that's across the nation too, though, the Bass Nation events. It's just gotten so much better in every way, every form and fashion. It's just gotten better. It's gotten bigger. You've got, high school tournaments now that 200 boats plus, no problem. So it's grew just like college fishing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now I know when I was talking to another college team, we were talking about some high school fishing and stuff like that. They said they felt like the competitive level was a little off just because it seemed like the drivers of the boat, a lot of times it'd have to be an adult, and that might be someone, they said some of them fished against guys that are professional anglers whose sons are in high school, and these professional anglers are taking them around the lake and putting them on all the spots. Did you ever run into any of that in high school or anything?
Fortunately, you have a lot of that, but it's not against any rules or regulations from what I'm, from what I understand. But yeah, when I fished, I knew kids that had professional fishermen that were their boat captains.
That
Yeah,
just
I
seems
mean,
crazy.
it didn't really affect me because we did well, but I mean, it was kind of, but once you get into the college aspect of it, you don't have anybody driving your boat for you anymore. So you got to find your own fish. But that's one thing that's probably the only downfall I see to high school fishing is a lot of times the kids don't know really what goes into it, into, finding the fish and pre-fishing, because they have a lot of stuff handed to them, which is okay. But, definitely when you step out there into your own realm, when you get bigger, it's you start realizing how tough it is to what all goes into fishing.
Right. That's perfect. That's kind of the segue I was hoping you would take on that is, you know, even as a high school angler, if you've got people that are beating you because they've got great boat captains, don't let that get you down, because if you're out there doing all the work yourself, in the long run, it's going to pay off better.
Yeah, in the long run, if you're doing it yourself and you don't really have anybody helping you, like, with me, it was always, I had some help, but it wasn't like that. It was definitely more of on my own, which makes you a better fisherman, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with you on that. So, on that note, what are some tips that you would give high school anglers that are wanting to compete in college?
First off, I'd save money. That's what I would have done if I could go back to high school. I'd save a lot of money. And then I don't know, just get out on the water as much as you can, have fun, learn as much as you can, be a competitor, take responsibility, and
don't be afraid to go for it. You got to get out there and learn. Every time you get out there, it's different every day. I mean, heck, it changes every minute.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many, there's so many factors. Weather, timing of the year, water temperature, dissolved oxygen levels, pH levels. It's just so many different factors. You're never really going to learn that until you get out there and do it on your own. But
yeah, fishing isn't something you just you learn in a couple days.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, nobody ever really learns. I guess you always learn, though. Nobody is ever great. I mean, nobody always knows where the fish are. Nobody goes to every tournament and wins. You got to keep learning. So.
Sure. I mean, you see people go out on the Bassmaster Classic and get skunked.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you see Kevin Van Dam not make it to the Classic for the first time in his whole career, that right there tells you something, man. It's you're fishing against the fish, not against the people. It can be tough.
Yeah, that definitely makes it interesting. So let's talk about this then. You mentioned a little bit about it with driving your own boat, but what are the biggest differences between college tournaments compared to your high school fishing tournaments?
I didn't fish in high school, so I don't really know. But
the differences between high school and collegiate fishing.
Yeah.
I would
the tournaments in general.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the format, it's pretty much the same format. You weigh your 5 biggest fish in, but it is different. When you get to the collegiate level, you're fishing against a bunch of guys. Of course, high school too. You're fishing against guys your age, but you're on your own when it comes to the collegiate part. But it's similar. It's pretty much similar, other than the boater situation, having to have a boat captain in high school versus college.
Okay, gotcha. So pretty similar, but just being able to take care of yourself out on the water.
Right.
I think you have a better understanding when you're actually driving the boat and doing everything on your own. You know what I mean? I think that if you and your partner out there versus you and your partner and a boat captain, I think you get a better understanding of like how the fish operate and stuff like that, I guess. Because I mean, if you have somebody driving your boat, taking you to fish, I mean, if for example, if there was a pro taking you to all his spots, then I mean, you still have to catch those fish. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not all about the boat captain all the time, I don't think.
Okay. So. Yeah. We actually just had a question come in from a viewer, and they wanted to know if you guys had ever heard of or seen any middle school fishing teams, if if that maybe is coming on the rise.
Middle school, yes, from my high school. The way we did it, every high school could be different. I'm not sure, but the way that I set up the bylaws and all at my high school is we allowed anybody to fish as long as they were, I think it was 12 or 13. I can't remember. It's been so long. 12 or 13 years old, which is, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the there's kids out there competing that are probably 11 years old. Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that's cool. So on the high school level, what are some tips you guys would have for parents that have kids that are high school fishermen that are wanting to get into college? What are some things you would say to the parents?
I would probably say, if from a parent standpoint, well, the first thing, if I was a parent, I would want to know is the financial cost of the high school. What would it cost? I'm sure some high schools have programs set up where they raise money where they can provide funding for their top travel teams, kind of like we do. That's what we did at Sylacauga. It didn't really go well the first year because it was my first year, getting all that started. But that's a process by itself. But from a parent standpoint, for sure funding and experience. You, like I said, you want to find a boat captain that knows how to drive a boat. It really doesn't do the kids any good at all if they've got a boat but their dad don't know how to drive it. So I guess just experience and financial obligation stuff probably my main concern as a parent. And safety too. Want to be safe out there.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big one that I feel like the organizations themselves try to take an initiative on the safety of the anglers,
right,
and help out with that. So, but that's still always important.
Right.
All right, we had another question come in. I'm going to jump to real quick. It says, "Does Auburn have a college fishing class?"
That's a good question. We do.
Actually, we do. We have two. I guess it'd be fishing 1 and fishing 2, basically. One's advanced fishing, and it's the same teacher. I don't know if you've taken it. I've taken advanced fishing, and it was pretty fun. You learn a lot.
I haven't taken it, but
I think it's a 2-hour course, so it's just as an elective, I guess.
Right. That's cool. So do you guys require your members to take it or anything like that?
No,
we don't. Though a lot of them do take it just because they could take it over PE. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Everybody has to take a couple elective hours, and most of our guys, they like to take the bass class. That's what we call it, the bass class, to go ahead and knock those elective hours out. So.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I understand. I probably would have taken that class as an elective if I
had
had
that hard, right?
What was that?
I said it can't be that hard, right?
Right. Go fishing, man. Do you guys have a lake nearby that you can go to pretty easily to do practice and stuff like that?
We're actually right in the center of a lot of really good lakes. We have the Coosa River chain, which is, Logan Martin, Lay Lake, Lake Mitchell, Lake Jordan, and Tallapoosa, Wedowee, Lake Martin, and then we have the Chattahoochee, which we have Eufaula and West Point and Lake Harding. So we're right in the middle of all them lakes within an hour and a half. So we get a lot of practice in.
Yeah, Martin's 35 minutes away. Eufaula's no more than an hour. West Point's right here in the backyard, probably 20 minutes. Hardin's the same, 20 minutes. Wedowee an hour,
Yeah.
Lay Lake an hour. I mean, yeah, we've got a bunch of lakes here close.
Very cool. Now, the gentleman that teaches the class, is he associated with the club at all?
He was. Is it still the same? Jan's Point? Yeah. He was actually the club
Advisor.
Club advisor at when they first started. So
Okay.
he has a lot of experience with fishing in general, and all.
Now, that spurs another question that came up last time I was speaking with a team, and it talked about college or fishing coaches and how, you know, some of the former pros are looking at ways to give back to the fishing community, and you've actually seen a couple schools have brought in fishing coaches. How do you guys think that would help your team? You know, what sort of aspects would a fishing coach bring, and you know, where would you see that maybe going in the future?
Our advisor somewhat is a coach in a way. I mean, he's labeled as an advisor, but I mean, he's also a coach. He helps us out a lot. If he has any information somewhere we haven't been, he's going to tell us. You know, he helps us out as much as he can. I mean, even financially, and
he's really a mentor. He's he's a great guy he would break his back to help you in any way.
That's great.
And but as far as a pro coming in and, you know, being a coach for a team, I think that would be awesome. I mean, especially for your school. I mean, could you imagine if Kevin Van Dam was your coach? I mean, how many people would want to come and be on your fishing team?
Right.
So.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see that. And, you know, that might turn into a major recruiting opportunity too.
Yeah,
You
for
get,
sure.
you know, a former pro to come to your school. Obviously, a lot of people are going to come there wanting to fish and things. So that'll be interesting in the next, you know, 5 years or so, as teams are starting to kind of, you know, look for coaches and hire that, to see how that plays out. So very cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about technology and social media and those sorts of things. And how do you see that has kind of made an impact on both fishing in general, just across the board, and then the Auburn fishing team specifically?
Well, it's totally changed the game. I mean, social media is blown up, you know, in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's just another way to be able to get in touch with everybody that wants to know what's going on with anything, not just with fishing, but
I actually recruit a lot of people that are that like our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and I get questions all the time. We have an email. I get questions all the time. How can I join? Where do I go? What do I do? You know, and really, that's probably where about 40 or 50% of our members actually come from. They'll start asking questions, you know, and I'll tell them first meeting, and then they show up and pay their dues, and they're in. I mean, so.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's definitely, like you said, a game changer, and you see that a lot at the different colleges. You know, they all have their own Facebook page, Instagram account, and that, you know, that helps people get in touch with them. So that's very cool. Well, we got a few minutes left here, so I'm going to kind of open it up, see if any other questions come in. In the meantime, while we're waiting, what's some stuff you guys have coming up? Any tournaments? Anybody fishing in any national championships? Any big things going on? What do you guys have in store for the next couple months?
Next May 21st.
Yeah, we just left a national championship at Lake Kiowee in South Carolina, and we had a team place third, and I guess the next.
That was actually this guy here.
The next FLW.
Congratulations, man.
The next FLW tournament is May 21st on Gunnersville, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, there's the Cabela's Championship is on Pickwick the very next weekend, the 27th. And I I guess that's really about it. And then start up.
Well, the wild card for bass was just now announced. It's June the 8th
through the 10th. Yeah,
8th to the 10th. It's in on the Oklahoma-Texas border right there on one of those. I think it's Lake Murray or some lake. So we'll be going to that also. And the championship for bass was also announced. I believe it's on Kentucky Lake or one of the smaller lakes beside a smaller lake beside Kentucky Lake.
Green Lake or something. Yeah. Green River, something.
So there's definitely some big events coming up this summer, here soon.
Right.
For FIWM Bass.
Very cool. We had a question come in. It says, is the national championship trophy the same as other NCAA champions?
Well, no, it's not the same as NCAA affiliate. That's considered a sport, like I said, and ours is considered a club sport, but it is the same. It's a national championship. That's what we're competing for. But no, it's not an NCAA. It's not a sport championship trophy. I don't know if that answers the question, but
yeah,
I guess it's a club sport trophy.
Right. Right. So you technically don't compete on the NCAA level.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
And each trail, like the FLW, will have their own national championship.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, basically you're competing for each trail's national championship.
Right. So did you feel like on Kiowee that USC had an advantage going into that?
I mean, that at the championship like that, they have cutoff days. You can't fish, like a month before the tournament, and then you get 2 practice days. So, I mean, like he said earlier, everything changes in fishing. You have to adjust, and they probably knew the lake a little better, but in the end, they still had to catch the fish just like we did. It's not us against them; it's us against the fish. That's what you got to think about when you go out there. You can't worry about who's around you, who's catching fish, who's doing what. You just got to catch them yourself. So
I always say though, it did not hurt though that it was in their backyard.
Yeah,
you have to go with that. Right?
Patrick Walters and those guys from South Carolina, they're hard to beat as it is. But when you put them on, lakes that are right there in their backyard, I mean, it's like fishing a fish pond, aquarium. So. But no, they're a great team. The lakes up there, I wouldn't say they had a big advantage, but it definitely didn't hurt.
Well, we're hoping to have them on in maybe the next week or two. I'll have to ask them and see what
ask them about CJ Knight and Mitchell. They know all of us now.
Oh yeah,
we're real good buddies with them.
All right, good deal. We'll do that. Well, that's it for right now. Do you guys have any? I know a lot of people do personal things with fishing, whether it's YouTube pages, Twitter, Facebook, anything like that. Do either of you have any personal fishing profiles out there that you want to share with people to be able?
Yes, I do. I have my YouTube page, which I upload pretty much only fishing videos via the GoPro, and just Facebook and Instagram also. You can check it out, CJ Knight. I can't remember the YouTube now. I think it's just CJ Knight, whatever.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, guys. Well, appreciate that. So, appreciate the Auburn team coming out and speaking with us, having you guys on. We'll be doing another episode every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, if any of you viewers out there, if you have guys or a specific team that you want us to try to reach out to and have on, reach out to us on our Facebook page or Twitter, or leave a comment on the video. We're at Hook Wars Fishing on everything, so look us up. And also be sure to leave a comment. If you're watching this after it's live, you can leave a comment and we'll reach out to the Auburn team. If you have any questions, they can comment later on this as well. So if you guys don't have anything else, that's it, and we'll call it a night.
I appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
War Eagle.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good evening, and we'll try to get on with you sometime in the future as well. We'll do another one. All right.
Sounds good. Until then, we'll stay tuned in.
All right. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a good night. Thanks.